music rules, cooling music rules, music rules, music rules. Come on now, come on now.
Come on now.
That's how we know that we're recording the 18th night, an episode of Music Rules.
We're in the teens for sure.
Yeah, we're angsty as hell. But
we're in year 11. We're going to
year
the
11.
informal.
That's right. We're going to the formal. We're wearing super long pants, cargo shorts to the formal. That's what we're doing.
We're ready to start our HSC.
Three-quarter length.
Three-quarter length cargo pants.
Yeah, and our final subjects.
T-shirts that have tuxedos printed on them.
Yeah, and a little piano roll tie.
Yeah, piano roll tie around the neck, Avril Lavigne style.
Yeah.
Red vest, huge fedora, with
Yeah.
a slight angle to it.
Yeah, and we're skinny as hell.
Skinny as hell.
We're like 7 foot tall and just all skin and bones.
Yep.
There's
right.
nothing to us. And that was me.
That was also me.
Hey, speaking of high school, I think this band here is one that I did not listen to in high school, but listened to when I was very young, and a sort of a version of this band. So today we're talking about Doomsday Student, which is a fantastic, weird little band from Rhode Island or Providence.
Hey,
I'm not sure.
The same places. Providence is the city. Rhode Island is the state.
Oh, really?
I think.
Well, cool. That means I was correct on both fronts. Yeah,
Wow.
They're from Providence, Rhode Island. I've always been a bit bad with American geography.
Yeah, ultimately it doesn't really matter where people are from.
All that matters is
How
what
they
they
sound. What they
how
do.
they sound. But
And
I
the
think
music of which
Yeah.
they create.
yes, of which they bestow upon this world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's sort of relevant in this context because Providence is like a really weird hub of bands that kind of sound like this or very similar.
Right.
Sort of like how Wollongong for a period was kind of like a microtonal hub. I guess it still is.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I don't know, what's some more hubs we can think of? There was lots of surf rock here in the 2010s.
Okay.
Wollongong.
Yeah, that makes sense. Melbourne is a hub for annoying people, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's a given.
Yeah.
What else? Canberra is a hub for politicians.
Yeah. What else is a hub?
What else is a hub?
My computer has a hub for USBs.
Sometimes like when I would go and see my nana as a child, I would come and give her a really big hub.
And when I was a child, when I would chew gum, I would chew hub abubba.
Oh, we are so smart. And you know what? Maybe we're a hub of geniuses.
That's right.
Now.
A hub of two.
That's a real smart and intelligent thing to say. So, yeah. Doomsday Student. They are extremely unique in they have, I think when I first heard them, what really took me was the fact that there is no bass at all in this music. And
Wow.
And it is just so disarming because I think traditionally in this sort of music, especially around the time this came out, there was this sort of trend where I guess like heavy bands would just get lower and lower and lower. And then six-string guitars. Six-string guitars become 7. 7-string guitars become 8. 8-string guitars become 9.
And all those additional strings are getting lower and lower.
And lower.
And would people like detune would they tune their guitars lower?
They would. And it sort of just keeps going and going. And
what do we call that technique in Italian?
Oh.
Scordatura.
Oh, really? Scordatura.
Yeah. Scordatura. I wonder if
and that just means loosening strings.
Like violins and stuff, but I think it's for everything. Scordatura. I'm Googling it now.
I think there was like
Scordatura is a tuning of a string instrument that is different from normal standard tuning.
Ah.
Okay.
So it does count.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I mean, nobody ever calls it Scordatura when they're talking about guitars.
No.
Except for us.
Except for this smart hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that always struck me as something really interesting and unsettling about Doomsday Student was the fact that they were conveying this really quite intense and brutal music, but with almost entirely no low end. I think there was an incarnation of Doomsday Student, which had a few of the same members once, called Arab on Radar, and they did an album where they had a bass player once, and I actually do really like it, but I almost like this stuff equally without the bass. Yeah. But something there's a bit of an interesting history around the origins of this band. So when they began in their first incarnation, which called Arab on Radar, which had one member that's different to Doomsday Student, they all went in for a job interview and they all didn't get the job. And then they all went to a bar and started a band that night.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice little, I don't know if they're millennials, but it feels very millennial kind of way to start a band.
Yeah. It's like, I think they're maybe 10 years older than us.
Yeah. Maybe. That's kind of like, still millennial-ish.
Yeah. I always get confused about this stuff. But yeah, that's how they started the band. And the best thing about that is the fact that the band sounds like Doomsday Student.
Yeah.
It's like, I think like if I thought of all the job interviews I went to and the people that I was with, especially those hideous group interviews.
Oh my God.
They're not the type of people I'd want to start a band with.
It is.
Let alone a really wild band.
Three people who were able to start this specific band.
Yeah.
I wonder what job it was.
Crazy.
Weird music maker at the guitar factory.
I'm sorry, but you three are too weird. Get out of here. Yeah. The first ever footage I saw of these guys was this absolutely crazy video in Bakersfield. There used to be a gym, like a boxing ring, where they would put on like hardcore gigs and stuff like that. And it's just this like really amazing old video. The audio is really blown out because it's just recorded on some dinky video camera from like 20 years ago. And the guitar riffs are really like pulverizing, and there's drums in the middle of the boxing ring and guitars on either end. And then the singer Eric is like swinging between ropes. And I saw that and I was like, oh, what is this? I've literally never seen anyone or heard anything like that. So I was so struck by the performance of it. And
that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes with
cool.
those old videos of gigs, like the fact that the audio does get so blown out by the old camera, microphone makes it even better.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that fact.
Yeah, it like squishes it, or I don't know what it does, but it makes it sound freaking cool.
Yeah, makes it kind of sound like more aggro in a way, or more intense.
Yeah, I feel like it gets distorted and compressed at the same time or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's mysterious, very mysterious.
Yeah. But yeah, I went back to that video time and time again. as like inspiration. And I saw a lot of people in the comments were like, huh, drugs. This is definitely drugs. And but I don't know, I really disagree. Like, I don't know. It could have been drugs, but I can also just understand feeling very animated by this style of music.
Yeah.
It's sort
it's
of
the power
in
of
a
music.
Yeah, it is the power of music, and in a way, it kind of reminds me. I had someone come in when I was at uni. I did like a subject on like world music, basically.
Yeah.
I think it had less of a white name than world music. I forget what it's called. Kind of just studies of non-Western music.
Mm-hmm.
And someone came in and they were talking about West African voodoo music.
Okay.
And weirdly, I can draw lots of comparisons between that music and Doomsday Student. It's like these very like pulverizing, repetitive drums that just keep going and going and going. And then these polyphonic guitars that come in and they're playing against each other and with each other. And it's just this, it really can put you into this headspace where you can jump around a boxing ring, probably, under the influence of it.
Yeah, it's quite like hypnotic, I guess. Maybe we should listen to a track so people
let's put on a track.
Know what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is probably the first time that we've started talking about songs before playing one. Let's put on, what did I have on my list here? Oh, let's put on LSD Mum.
Yes, let's do it. Now, you gave me very specific advice to listen to this song.
I did.
While going on a slow walk.
Yes, slightly slower.
So you, dear listener, can follow that advice if you would like to.
Yeah, if you're in your car,
strides.
If you're in your car, maybe consider parking and maybe just walking along the side of the road for 4 minutes.
You could also just brake suddenly if you're in a car.
Yeah, if you're in a car, just
don't brake suddenly.
Just hit the accelerator and go.
Yeah, decrease your speed to like 30.
Oh yeah,
just the equivalent of a slow walk. Okay.
Oh, and it's worth saying this is also a release from Skin Graft Records, which did the Terms album that we talked about.
Yes, and this album is called A Self-Help Tragedy. We haven't said that yet.
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1. LSD Mum. So, Fenn, you got to tell me, did you end up going for that slow walk I suggested?
I did indeed end up going for that slow walk. And actually it wasn't exactly the slowest of walks.
What I love
was
about
a
it,
walk, and it
yeah,
was at nighttime. I crossed the river near my house, and I was walking through the park to go pick up some takeaway food that I had ordered. Um, and as I was walking through the park, there was an entire soccer team doing some sort of exercise, some sort of drill, where they would run for 3 steps and then jump up and lift one of their knees. And it was like weirdly perfectly in time with the music. So that was really fun.
I love that.
That
I
was
think
my
John,
experience of listening to this.
I think John Cage talked about that once. Like he wrote some poems about like writing music for people who are dancing to it when they don't know they're dancing to it.
Yeah, that's
Such a
cool.
cool concept. Yeah, I love it as a walking song. Like I was listening to it the other day, walking through, walking by the beach, and it was like, it's at such an awkward tempo for that. Like
It's
it's
very
like,
slow. It's really
it's
slow
like,
for walking.
yeah, something that like have you heard the term Mickey Mousing before?
No, never.
So it's like it refers to like the old Mickey Mouse cartoons when the music would be like in time with Mickey walking.
Oh,
Like boom,
yeah,
tit,
yeah.
boom, tit, boom, tit, boom, like with these steps. And it's like this is a really close tempo for like Mickey Mousing, but it's just a little too slow, so
Yeah.
it's kind of
So
weird
you
to
probably
walk
looked
to.
very funny walking
Yeah.
along.
Yeah, you have to do these super long steps and then you end up feeling super cool with the
Yeah.
big strides.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the second track off of A Self-Help Tragedy. And this one really stands out to me because that first riff in the guitar that's panned left is it's so rockin'. Like, and this is a band that like doesn't really seem heaps concerned with giving you like capital R riffs. But this is like a riff that you can sing along with, and it's just super cool.
Yeah. It feels kind of bluesy in a way.
Yeah.
Maybe because of
Yeah, it's
yeah,
got
it's
like
got
some
that
slides in there.
the sort of tritone thingy feels like part of the blues scale almost.
Yeah. I
And
haven't.
then the like one of the other guitar parts feels like it's doing somewhere between a major and a minor third at points. Like that
Yeah.
kind of bluesy third, or it's just like a detuned third of the chord. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it the one that goes in the it's panned right? It goes.
Yeah, yeah. Or does that change at any point?
It goes.
I forget.
I know all the riffs here. Probably can't sing them all that great, but yeah.
It's so funny because like I must have listened to this with my headphones in the wrong sides. So
Oh, really?
yeah, like it's panned left, it's panned right. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not. That was the right hand guitar. Actually, if you listened with it stereo swapped, you weren't really listening at all. You need to have it as the composer's intended.
I love the end when those slides down are happening, one on the left and one on the right.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of gives it like a tonal center somehow.
It does. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives
It's
us
cool.
this tonal center.
It's like that's not something they can perform live, obviously, because it's only two guitars, drums, and vocals. But I like when.
Hello, Jack. Ever heard of a loop pedal?
Oh my god, I have not heard of this.
Well, loop pedal.
They strike me as a band that would probably. Oh, actually, I was going to say.
Use the loop pedal.
Yeah, they'd probably be like. Yeah, no with pedals, but they do like. There is like delay on the right pan guitar, left pan guitar if you're Fenn, and some various things. Yeah, but yeah, maybe they use loops. Maybe I don't know. I like that they're not necessarily restrained to the just being two guitars. You know, it's like
yeah.
Or I think I had that chat with Smug Anime Face about like. The sound of like one guitar recorded isn't always the sound of like an entire band. Like sometimes or like seeing a band live, for instance. So like recording two guitars can just make it sound more live.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, this song is so cool. The riff is so like funky almost, and it locks in with the guitar in a really, really satisfying way. Yeah, I guess the guitar riff is really syncopated, and then the drums are really like not. I think, or they're really like on the beat.
Yeah, I really like the drums because I feel like it's something that I could play, and that's like meaningful to me. It's like it's like something that's like. If I sat down and wanted to convey like intensity, that's how I would do it. Just letting the hats ring out, just having it really like sloshy, and like it just creates this really great canvas for the guitars to paint on.
It does, and it takes like a lot of confidence, I think, to play a simple drum beat and be like, this is the one, this is the right one for the song.
Yeah.
If you're a drummer, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's tempting to make things more complicated than they need to be.
Yeah. I think the drums throughout this record are that sort of perfect amount of restraint.
In the pocket.
Yeah, in the pocket. It's like very groovy. It's something that I kind of found difficult when I was writing my song because, of course, in this podcast, we write a song in the style of the band. And yeah, I found it quite difficult. The drums particularly, but hey,
you'll have to wait and see.
You have to wait and see
exactly how difficult he found the drums.
Yeah,
will be revealed at the end.
Lyrically, this has all the great things that Eric has been doing for such a long time, and vocally, the delivery is really cool. It's just this kind of like. I love the snarl behind these words, and I love the like. I love how uncompromised and sort of bare bones it is. Like it really feels like quite an upsetting thing to witness in a way.
Yeah,
but it also feels like a part of all of us to kind of. I don't know how to really articulate that correctly. But yeah, it kind of feels a bit childish in a way. Like it feels a bit like
snarky kind of.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe that's not the right word.
Maybe snarky
is definitely the wrong word.
Well, I'd say there's a bit of snark to it, but maybe as the podcast goes on, we'll get better at articulating it. But
it's like a
yes, that's it. Yeah, and it's kind of like intimidating in a way that. Like heavy music tends not to be. This like and this is kind of a running theme through like this band for me is like it's missing a lot of hallmarks of like heavy bands, aka low end. The drums are very repetitive. The guitars are like atonal and like piercing, and the singer is not doing harsh vocals. He's not screaming, but
Yeah.
it still manages to be so unnerving. Like it's so, and probably like Eric said in an interview, music that he guarantees the average person would hate.
It reminds me slightly of the delivery of the singer of McCluskey. Did you ever listen to McCluskey?
I know of McCluskey, yeah. I'm not familiar with the singer.
It's kind of similar. Well, in some ways similar.
Mm.
But it just like feels like they're like, it's like a joke that you're not in on or something. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah.
It feels very it feels like it should be in like an edgy 90s film.
Yeah. They would be playing the bully in the edgy 90s film.
Yeah. The
one who pushes the guy into the locker and then like throws a milkshake on him and is like, "Oh, yeah, you spilled your milkshake."
The drums come in.
And then walks away, like puts sunglasses on.
Yep. Yeah, I love that character.
He's the star of the film this time.
Yep.
The bully is like the best character in any 90s movie.
Always. Shall we move on to Angry Christmas?
Let's do it.
That was Angry Christmas.
That was me taking my first breath.
Your first breath. I love the way he says breath in this. It's so good.
Yeah.
We've just taken our first breath.
I love that that melody. It's kind of
Mm.
very
Yeah.
interesting. Da, 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 or something like that.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like
Hard
this
to
middle
sing.
ground between singing and speaking at points. Although this song does
Yeah,
have
yeah.
the
There's a
emergence.
German word for that. I forget
Sprechstein.
what it's called. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I don't know
Something
if it
like
is. I'm just going to claim it is. I'm rewriting
Yeah.
history. Yeah, it's like this song has the emergence of like a real like melodic part in like the
Yeah.
in the middle, which is very
It's like
much
a chromatically descending line.
yeah, and it's very much the kind of like nya 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 thing that you were mentioning before.
Nah, nah, nah.
Yeah, I love it. I think I did that in my song. And you know what? I probably took it from Doomsday Student, but yeah, I put it in my song "Let's Go."
Yeah, I love that song.
It's good. More people should do that. It almost seems like a
Yeah.
musical thing to sing really nasally, but definitely has a place in rock music.
It does, yeah. These
yeah.
lyrics are really intense, huh?
Yeah, this has one of the best opening lines of any song I've ever heard. So this song is like about his son, and like a lot of this album, the tracks are written lyrically about the birth of his son and the kind of chaos that surrounded it.
Wow.
Which is what he said. Yeah. He said, not all, but most of the lyrics are about the birth of my son, and the love and chaos that surrounded his arrival.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? Listening to this, would completely never have guessed that.
Yeah.
But that's really cool.
Yeah. It's like
I hope that the nurse did not actually make that joke. I hope that was just poetic license.
Well, yeah, I can kind of see how a nurse would make that joke and possibly not realize that it was.
Nurses have like probably, based on my very limited experience of meeting people who are nurses, they do sometimes have an extremely dark sense of humor.
Yeah, totally. And they're a bit like jaded and they've just seen lots of stuff in their lives.
Yeah, yeah.
So to them, you know, to the people at hospital, it's a crazy experience. To them, it's a Monday.
Yeah.
You know? So, but yeah, it's kind of hard to interpret the second line. It talks about like, when you were born, our bodies started over, our bones were stronger, our skin was cleaner. It's like kind of like a rebirth for everyone or something. We've just taken our first breath.
Yeah. I guess people's skin does get clearer when they're pregnant.
Oh, does it?
Like, it's like, well, I don't know if this is like if I'm getting into wellness territory, but I think pregnancy can, you know, help your skin. They always talk about people having a pregnant glow, you know.
Yeah, cool.
So when you were born, our bodies started over, our bones were stronger, our skin was cleaner. Yeah, I wonder if it has other whatever effects on somebody's health.
Yeah. And I'm sort of guessing from the title that maybe his son was born on Christmas or thereabouts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same day as Jesus.
Hey.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is a Christian music podcast.
Yeah, Jesus keeps coming up, doesn't it? It's so funny. So
yeah,
weird.
True. Came up in the You Beauty episode.
Yeah. you know,
what if You Beauty are named after Jesus?
We had 2 episodes in a row where someone mentioned je ne sais quoi.
Oh, wow.
And then we had 2 episodes in a row where Calvin Harris was mentioned.
Oh.
There's lots of really weird music rules, lore that's building up. Quite like it.
Somebody needs to put some red pins on a wall and tie some bits of string together.
Yeah, start the wiki. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great song, and it's also, I think it was their single, and they had a music video for this one. Did you catch the video?
I did not.
It's very, very intense. It's really good. And I think in the interview.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say I really love that guitar line on the left or the right. That's like.
Yeah, that's a really common thing with this band is they have one guitar that's really tight with the drums. And that's the one you were just singing. And then in the other guitar, it's like just kind of accenting the snare. Yeah.
Yeah, the way the timing works, I like that it's not too like quantized. I feel like sometimes heavy music they can be so like obsessed with being really on the beat, really like no room for human rhythm. But I feel like this band, like you'll get the feeling that when those guitar parts, there's like a couple of moments within the two different riffs that they lock together. But it's in this nice kind of human way where it's not like perfectly together. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love how all of this feels performed. It feels really live. And the drums particularly, the production's really interesting because they're kind of like pushed back a little bit.
But then the bass drum is like the only low end, so you really notice it.
You really sort of focus on it.
I'm pretty sure this is like not recorded to a click track because there's a point where it just gets faster. I'm sorry, that made me emotional. Talking about how, there's a point sort of towards the end of the song where it does seem to just up in tempo.
Yeah, cool. As it ups in intensity.
So it's refreshing.
The performers feel a bit of push. I really feel like I feel like it's a thing that's going to come back in vogue in a big way.
Recording with no click track.
Yeah, or recording or doing minimal quantization. Like even recording with a click, but just playing around it a bit more. I think that's going to be something that'll come back in for heavy music. Pardon me, I'm also getting emotional. It must be early for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I think I was going to say about the slushy. Oh yeah, this song always feels slower. Like when I come back to it, it's always way slower than I think it is. Like in my head, it's actually quite pulled back.
I guess the guitar with the faster rhythmic subdivisions gives it this feeling of urgency. And maybe the guitar is even like sitting ahead of the beat slightly. Where the drums are maybe sitting a little back. So there's that feeling of, it feels like it's pushing forward. And when I talk about sitting ahead of the beat, sitting behind the beat, I mean, most people will know what that means. But I think it's like an interesting thing to think about when you're playing. Like, are you somebody who naturally wants to get faster? Are you someone who naturally wants to get slower? I'm definitely someone who naturally wants to get faster when I play.
As am I. So when you and I do your wonderful musical,
it gets
self-love,
faster.
It gets faster and faster and faster. Although I did read somewhere once that apparently when you turn 30, that's when you end up statistically being slower behind the beat. But everyone under 30 tends to rush.
That's interesting. Okay, so maybe you'll start slowing down, and I can still rush for another year and a few months.
Hey, well, lucky for us. That's a perfect little... Yeah. Although we're not announcing anything yet, but hey, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows what could happen?
Who knows what could happen on October the 13th and 14th?
Yeah. But keep those dates free.
Yeah.
All right. If you live
in
New South Wales,
in the world's most annoying city.
Toowoomba.
Yeah, that's right. Oh no.
Yeah.
Now I'm regretting all these choices I've made to speak ill of a particular city.
Yeah, and
Oh
we
well.
got to get him on our side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we zoom to the last track on the album and the last
Yeah.
track of our choice?
Hold on a second. Let me just fast forward real quick.
So this
Okay.
track I selected is called Johnston Tar Pits, and I love it. Let's put it on. 3,
Let's check it out.
2, 1. Johnston Tar Pits. So I bought a home gym recently, and I've been working out listening to this song. It's so good. It's so good. I've got these speakers from Kmart. They're like Anko brand, which for our international listeners is like the cheapest, dodgiest brand you can buy, and there is zero bass response.
But keep talking for 1 second. I'm just letting my cat into the room.
All right. And yeah, you know, there's no bass response on those speakers, but it doesn't matter at all because there is no bass on this record. And it is truly, truly a pleasure to lift weights to. People at Anytime Fitness, they're really missing out. There used to be like a DJ thing, like when I went to Anytime Fitness. Hey Elvis. And you could line up songs. No. Your cat's so cute, man. Far out. I was like trying to line up songs on that, and they didn't have anything like Doomsday Student. And it would have been so funny to upset everyone at North Wollongong Anytime Fitness. But
I'm sure some people would have been into it.
I'm sure no one would have been into it. I know the type of people that went there.
It is quite an agitating song to listen to.
Yeah.
It's definitely not lo-fi beats to relax and study to. It's kind of like the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
Which is good, which is why it's good.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
what makes it beautiful.
Oh, nice. One Direction coming back up again. Yeah, it's like a really, I don't know, you have to be in a certain kind of mood for it, but I do find myself in the mood for it quite a lot. And if you sort of enjoy this style of music, the previous band, Arbon Radar, has a lot of albums, and Doomsday Student have like, I think one more before this, maybe, a few more. And just anything skin graft related has these sort of, really great, intense, I guess I'll say psychedelic, begrudgingly, songs to listen to. Avant-garde, it's cool stuff.
The lyrics on this are really intense. That's what I was trying to say.
They are intense.
Very medical. And it makes sense because he's talking about the birth of his son and probably going to hospitals and things like that. But this one does seem more metaphorical, I guess. It's like, well, definitely metaphorical. That he's talking about somebody cutting open his chest, and instead of that, and his heart was a bird flapping around.
Yeah.
And your heart was an abandoned lighthouse whose lamp was burning out.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm like, that's a really interesting kind of surreal image. And it's funny, like, when it's said in this, like, snarly kind of way, you're like, whoa. But if this was in, like, a folk song or something, you would just be like, oh, how poetic. Maybe.
Yeah, totally. Because it's like, they kind of sneak it in without you realizing. Like, even just you reading those lyrics out to me had a way different impact than hearing them sung by Eric in the song.
It's intense. It's really intense stuff.
I like the quote unquote chorus. We were high. We were always high. It's just so unnerving and great.
Yeah, it feels like someone's trying to freak you out.
Yeah.
When it's singing like that.
Yeah.
He's just trying to make you scared.
Yeah.
I'm projecting a lot of stuff onto this guy. I'm sorry, guy.
That's all right. Someone else will interpret it differently, and
maybe it's because I was walking through a park at nighttime when I was listening to this.
Yeah, it might be kind of situational.
I was like, oh, this is kind of. I'm feeling a bit spooked.
Well, also because he's popping into your left ear and then your right ear. This one is like way more stereo. I think I can't say with certainty. Very
stereo panned.
Yeah.
And it's a cool double track where he gives these quite different vocal performances in each ear.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a bit of a choose your own adventure. You can kind of like take one ear out and you're like, oh, his
That's
true. A different song completely.
Yeah. It's also unique because I think in the last, in like the other tracks, there isn't really any stereo or double tracked vocals, or it's very rare. Yeah. But the chorus it's actually quite loud. Like the vocals are turned up way more. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that guitar part. That's just like wow 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 wow.
Oh my god. It's
and
so.
It just feels like it keeps getting faster or something, or higher, or it just feels like the intensity is just lifting. And I'm not exactly sure what they're doing, but whatever it is,
it's a lot of intensity on there. Like I think it's probably a whammy, maybe. Wow 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 wow.
Yeah.
Potentially,
but that would make sense.
Yeah, it could also just be like really fast bends. Like what was the note?
Uh-oh, he's getting the guitar. That sounds right.
Yeah, something like that, which is really difficult to keep up for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So respect. I haven't even said the names of the other musicians, but because I don't really know who's in which ear, but we've got Craig Kurek on drums, Paul Vieira on guitar, and Stephen Matos on guitar.
Yay. Great job, guys.
Yeah, killed it. Yeah, it's a really intense closer of a track. And yeah, it's almost like everything's broken down to such simple elements where the guitarist can literally just get away with playing one note. Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, the drums are really sweet as well.
Yeah. A bit more space. Yeah. Yeah. It's also like, what was I going to say? It's like there's this, far out. I just lost my train of thought.
How dare you? And you call yourself a podcaster? I think I'll never call myself a podcaster.
Yeah, don't. It's not cool, probably.
But maybe, I mean, how many episodes does it take before that's who you are?
Yeah, maybe 20.
And that could be a discussion for its own entire episode. We should do an episode about that.
I forget what I was going to say. I had something cool. Oh yeah, that was it. In this track, the like all these elements, the vocals, the guitar, the two guitars, and the drums, they're all kind of in their own tempo at points. Like the way that chorus fades in. We were high, we were always high. It's just I keep trying to place like rhythmically where it sits, and it just sort of seems like it bulldozes through. Like it's kind of like the other elements of the song create like a palette, and then the vocals just come on top and assert themselves. I think that might be part of why it's double tracked.
Yeah.
To kind of assert that it's its own part without having to necessarily like be subservient to whatever's already there.
They sort of line up with these triplet drums, but then we were high, da 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 da. Then there's kind of this duplet that happens in the middle of it, da 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 da.
Yeah,
which is what makes it feel kind of like its own
so
thing.
sloppy and like kind of drunk, I guess. And then there's a point where everything cuts out except for the right guitar and the drums going wow 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 wow, and they're just sort of like moving in and out of time of each other. I think that's why.
Would this be an example of word painting again? I love to talk about word painting.
Oh yeah,
on this podcast, where it's like when he's talking about being high, which to our younger listeners, that is not something I don't even know what that means. So
yeah, something to do with drinking lots of coffee.
But maybe this kind of when you have too much coffee and you're in an altered state of consciousness. Maybe he's trying to reflect that in the melody. We were always high.
Yeah.
It has this kind of like out of itness.
Yeah.
Out of itness.
Maybe that's why I mentioned psychedelic as a genre for this.
Also, the album cover, I think you could probably describe as psychedelic.
Yeah, I love the cover.
Many colors on it, many interesting faces.
Yeah. That
so many
music video I mentioned
faces.
earlier, Angry Christmas, it's a very not safe for work video towards the end, so I wouldn't really recommend it for our younger listeners, but it's a really cool, wacky thing. And
Noted.
I think that the same artist who did that also did the cover, I'm pretty sure, because there's a lot of the same art.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, that was Self-Help Tragedy.
So interesting. Like,
sorry, you go.
Whether people decide to put the title of an album on the album cover or not.
Yeah.
You know, or even the band name.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is just the band name and then the art, but no, the title is not on there.
Yeah.
It's like, what goes into those decisions?
Yeah.
I have lots of questions today and not many answers, but I do have one question for you that you can answer.
Mm-hmm. Hit me with it.
That was the question. No. Would you like to show me the damn song?
I'd love to show you my song I made. It is called Axing.
Yes. Very cool. Very sweet. Very sick.
Thank you. Yes, that was axing.
Yeah. Song title.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah, I thought I'd give it a title.
Yeah. I could definitely hear the influence of the band, of course. Especially in kind of like the first 2.5 minutes of the song. And then I feel like you kind of took it in your own direction, which was really fun as well. Like you took it to a place that was more like the music that you make, maybe slightly more melodic, slightly less talky vocals. But I loved your kind of impression of the guy in the start of it as well. I love that like 11/8 kind of drum pattern that remained consistent throughout the song. That was very cool.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
That was a bit I struggle with vocal wise, was like, because I'm all about singing with an Australian accent, like as much as possible, because that's important to me. But it's, oh, hey, Elvis. Elvis the cat is enjoying the discussion.
Yeah, he also agrees that you should sing with an Australian accent.
He was like, meow. He was like, meow, mate. Meow.
Meow, mate.
Yeah.
Meow.
Yeah, but that was the bit I struggled the most with, because it's like, as soon as I took out the kind of affectation that Eric uses, it kind of felt really not great. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I
it kind of needs the American accent.
Yeah, it's like,
it's so funny.
I was like, let's play spin the bottle. Instead of like, let's play
this
spin the
American
bottle.
Accent. This is my best American accent.
I'm trying to think of what that accent reminds me of. It's like a little bit Borat or something. A little bit Borat doing American accent. Yeah. Just something about singing
European person doing American.
Yeah. So something about it just didn't sit right. So I kind of had to, I didn't want to go full American, but I kind of just blurred it a little bit. Yeah.
It wasn't full.
Yeah.
You never go full American.
No. Where are you? I also could have gone Tom DeLonge. That would have been it, like, kind of on theme.
No, I thought his name was DeLonge. Oh my god, my cat is going crazy.
Lounge. That's all right. You do your thing.
Not my cat, actually. Technically, not mine.
Oh, really? Yeah. I'm just going to keep talking while Fenn's doing cat stuff. I also got a great appreciation for the guitarist in this band, and probably the drummer as well, because the whole thing about it, like, I was just talking about Fenn's just arrived back. I was just talking about how I have a great appreciation for the guitarists and the drummers of this band, because playing these riffs over and over and over again is really difficult. So there was one that I did. I'm not in the same tuning right now that I was for this song, but kind of like... it's just really exhausting to play over and over and over again, and keep it really accurate as well. Because I think, like, rhythmically, Doomsday Student kind of allow themselves to move freely. But melodically, they're always hitting the same exact bends, it seems, or something very close to.
Well, Earth to Jack, ever heard of something called a loop pedal?
I actually did, like, just copy and paste some of the parts, but
of course.
Yeah. It was more about the song building aspect of it.
Imagine if Doomsday Student just got on stage and they just like played the riff once and then just sat there.
God, that's so funny. It's such a good idea. It's such a good idea. Just sit there and then, like, look at each other and then press stop at the same time on their respective loops.
Why is it so much better to play the same thing over and over compared to just playing it once and just looping it? Why does that feel so much better to listen to and watch?
Because there's just something about that. Yeah, there's just so much life in it. Like, and you can feel.
Yeah,
you can feel it.
You can feel the life in it.
Yeah, I wonder how this was recorded.
It's like
if it was just like a live band or.
Yeah, have you ever seen like minimalist music performed live? Like phasing done live, so. That sort of thing.
It's pretty boring, right? I don't know. Is
I was going to say that it was good.
I'm trying to think if I've seen...
Yeah, no, you're right. It sucks. Whatever.
No, well, like I think the only thing I saw that was properly minimal was Philip Glass. And
I hate Philip Glass. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about that.
No,
but
you
I hate
haven't.
Philip Glass.
Okay, well maybe that's why.
It's just an opinion that I have. Maybe we can do an episode on how much I hate Philip Glass.
Yeah, we need more snark on this podcast. We're just celebrating all these amazing musicians.
Everyone is obsessed with Philip Glass, and they love Philip Glass. I'm over here like, he is so boring, and sucks.
I used to like the song Mad Rush. That was cool.
Is that a Philip Glass song?
Just these.
See, I'm following the one,
the one with all the arpeggios. That's a bit of a joke.
Oh, you mean every Philip Glass song?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Give me any other minimalist any day of the week.
I like watching. No, I don't like watching minimal stuff. I was trying to think of something I like to watch, and I just couldn't. I just blanked. So I had to be honest. I don't know.
What my Meemaw used to say: if you can't think of anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Say
Jack.
Nothing at all. I don't know. There was some cool kind of minimal things at Microfest, the Microtonal Festival in Sydney. That was pretty.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. That was cool, but it's more because it was always a saturation of sound. Like, I think anything with big silences, I'm like, oh my god, I just want to go home. Fill the gaps. John Cage is dead.
Minimalist music doesn't have that many silences.
Okay.
I feel like when I think of minimalist music, I think of things being like
yeah, moving around and
just like constant quavers.
I like minimal techno. Minimal techno is fun. It's good.
Lame.
That's it. I'm picking minimal techno after the next episode. And we're gonna.
Let me just listen to like this for like 10 hours
and talk about a kick drum. Hey, but then the synth comes in.
And there's some like, oh, damn, what are you gonna do next? Put in like a pitched down R&B a cappella sample. Whoa. Oh my god. You better not be putting like some sort of tape hiss on any of those drums.
That's it. I'm going to pick my favorite minimal techno album and we're going to suffer together.
Oh, wow. You're so tasteful for cutting out all the high end from all of your synthesizers.
Is that a thing?
So tasteful.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
I just feel like in minimal techno, it's all like, all the synths are just like warm.
Right.
Warm synths.
Yeah.
And that means cutting out the high end, whereas like in the techno that I like,
Calvin Harris.
I'm talking David Guetta. I'm talking Calvin Harris.
I'm talking Hamster Dance. I'm talking Crazy Frog Axel F remix.
I'm talking Deadmau 5.
Just all the kind of deep underground crazy stuff.
Tiesto. They
Timmy
have
Trumpet.
Nothing but high end and nothing but low end, and actually they probably have every frequency being played at the same time.
I'm talking the bass and the drum and the yes.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Now we've done our customary our customary 15 minutes of ramble at the end of every episode.
Well, it's at the end, so you don't have to listen to it.
That's true.
If you made it this far,
I hope you guys liked
congratulations.
my freaky song. It was a pleasure to play. They're a hard,
It was awesome.
they're a
It was
hard
so
band to kind of follow. You know, it's like
Oh, I love the effects on the vocals in the song you made as well. Really cool.
cheers. Yeah, I put a little
Yeah, it
bit of
was like you were
delay,
in like
a bit of
slow
reverb.
motion or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put in the thing. I need to ask you a question, and then I put that chorus of "I love you" in. But except this time I inflected it upwards. I love you. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. Sounds like you've reversed it and then like
Yeah,
set it in reverse and then reversed it. You know when you do that?
Yeah.
For fun.
Yeah, I remember that.
So fun.
All right. Well,
I love you.
Well, let's wrap this episode up here, and 5 stars on Spotify, Google reviews.
I have a word for you, and I want you to select
word.
this audio when you're editing it, and I want you to reverse it.
Okay.
Schnall, launch.
Schnall.
There you go. And you won't know what that means until you edit it.
Oh wow, what could it be? Schnall.
Schnall.
Schnall. Lance.
Schnall.
Oh, I'm so excited.
You gotta do a sh at the beginning. Schnall. Yeah, and then reverse it.
Lance.
Yeah, there you
Lance.
go.
Lance?
Lunch.
Oh, lunch. I'm so excited to
Now you don't need to reverse
edit it.
You did it.
I figured it out. All right.
Oh yeah, follow us at Music Rules Cast on Instagram. Yeah.
Review. I'm talking.
Share it.
I'm talking
share. It with your
share.
friends.
I'm talking tell your friends.
Share
I'm talking
it with 5 of your friends, or you'll be cursed for this month.
Yeah. Or greet through your computer.
No, I don't want to say that. You won't be cursed.
You will be cursed. All right. Music rules. Bye.
Bye.